early. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving up a little bit of your time this afternoon to be with us. For those that still don't know me, my name is Rob Mitchell. I'm the Director of Enrollment Management at Morristown Beard School. And on behalf of the admission team, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the Transition to Middle School program. This is the first of 2 sessions tonight. And in this session, obviously, is dedicated to the middle school. The next session will start at 6:30 and is focused solely on the upper school. At the conclusion of this session, you are invited to join us in the middle school commons to mingle with middle school faculty and our families in attendance this evening. The commons area is to your right when you exit the theater. The purpose of the program tonight is to provide an overview of our academic, extracurricular, and student life programs from experts who work with our students every single day. We will cover a lot in this short period of time, but rest assured, this is just the beginning of a wonderful relationship. So let's get right into it. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Alonda Cassell, Head of Middle School. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. So for the students, and I guess your families out there, this is the energy I give to the students every day, right? Yeah, every day. So I'm going to do it one more time. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm excited to welcome you all tonight. Mr. Mitchell did introduce me. I'm Alonda Cassell, the head of middle school, for some of you who don't know me, but I'm hopeful that most of you have either met me, maybe seen me around campus, or had a chance to have a brief discussion with me about whatever it might be. So if you haven't, I would love to, like Mr. Mitchell said, meet you in the middle school commons for further discussions and to get to know you a little bit better this evening. Tonight, we have a chance to talk briefly about our academic program, review some subject areas and some dates, as well as give a little bit of information about some of our areas of student life. So sit back, relax, and don't worry about all of the information you're going to hear tonight. If I were to give you some advice, I'd say check your emails within the next couple of months, because we promise to give you all the information we're talking about tonight through email with all the dates and everything like that. So don't worry about writing things down tonight. So let's go on. So I know that's a lot of words, and I promise not to read all of that to you. The most important thing that I'd love for you to take from this slide is that the mission of the middle school is to meet the academic and social needs of our individual students. We believe students should be able to explore who they are, who they want to be, and what they have the potential to be. We have developed a schedule and program that will allow our students to do just that. So let's take a look. This slide, it shows you our current schedule. You will notice that we have an 8-day A through H schedule that also rotates through 8 periods. So 5 periods a day. So if you look at our A, you see period 1, period 2, period 3, 4, and 5. Those are filled with our core academic courses, as well as an elective period. We also have world language, which you'll hear about in just a moment. We have our collaborative period, and we also have what we're calling our student life period, which is when we have middle school meetings where we all come together as a middle school. We also have clubs, and our advisory meets at that time as well. So you'll hear about those individually in just a moment from some of our middle school staff. We also have lunch. We wholeheartedly believe in community time, so we have recess on our schedule, and then you'll see that we have our sports block at the end of the day. So I wanted to show you sort of what your schedule may look like depending on what grade level you're entering. So you'll see that the first period you have your English period, so you'll see that you have English 6th, English 7th, or English 8th. Then you have your math class, and your math class is based on placement, so hopefully most of you, I know some of you may still need to take your math placement exam. Once we get that data back, myself and the head of the department, the math department, we get together and we place students based on your level. If you look at the very asterisk at the very, very bottom there, most of our 6th graders enter into what we call foundations. Most of our 7th graders enter into Intro A, and most of our 8th graders enter into Intro B. Now, you may have heard me say most. Some of you may, depending on your level and how you performed on that math placement exam, you may be a 6th grader who enters in Math Intro B. It just may be what happens, and that's okay, because we do believe in meeting all of our students on their individual needs. So where they place and where they are academically is where they'll be placed in math. The next number you'll see there is world language. You may see in 6th grade that says language exploration. We'll talk a little bit more about what that looks like for our 6th graders, and then what that'll look like for our 7th and 8th. Then you have your typical geography or social studies and civics class. So in 6th grade, we have geography, and in 7th and 8th, you have your social studies and civics classes. Then you have your electives block. Well, I'm gonna show you all of the electives for this upcoming year. That is student choice. So in about a month, you will, and you'll actually get the exact date in just a moment, you will receive an email where you will choose your electives, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. And then you have your student life session, and I just mentioned in the last slide on what that might look like when we have our middle school meetings, clubs, and things like that. And then you have your mandatory art and design and wellness period. Wellness is a requirement for all 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It is considered one of our quarterly classes. You'll hear about that in just a moment. And then we require all of our 6th graders to take vocal ensemble and an organizational skill. So for all the parents out there that are wondering if your student has the study strategies they need for middle school, that's where they would learn all of those strategies, as well as how to keep their lockers clean and things like that. Hopefully that goes home and they'll clean up their room a little bit more. And then in 7th grade, all of our incoming 7th graders, so our new 7th graders, will actually take that organizational skills class. And then they will also take vocal ensemble, and we actually have an English workshop class. So we do a little bit more with our English and our mechanics during that class. And then the same thing for 8th. So we have our mandatory wellness, an art, a maker space. So this is where our students get into our Center for Innovation and Design with Mr. Martino, and they learn a lot about that space. And then they also have English workshop. So these are what our schedules will look like from some of our students. So what I said before is we will take a look at the electives. These are our 2024-25 electives for the upcoming year. Any of those that have an asterisk next to them, so band, dance, and string ensemble, those are year-long electives. So if that is something that you are really into, let's say you are really into dance, or you play an instrument and you want to be a part of the band, you would have to commit for the full year in those electives. Then we have our electives that only are offered in the fall. Then you will see the list of those electives that are only offered in the spring. And then to the right, you will see electives that are offered in the fall and the spring. So let's say you really, really want to take digital content creation lab, you would take that in the fall, and then you have an opportunity to take one of these on the right. So it's a nice, extensive list. What I love about it is most of these classes, we share the teachers with the upper school, so you get a little bit of that experience. But the nice thing about the middle school is, like I said in the beginning, and our mission is that students are able to really dip their toe a little bit in things that they're interested in and really focus on that for 3 or so years to be able to decide when they get into the upper school to take sort of a focus on a path of what they're really interested in. So it's nicely well-rounded, and we believe that our schedule and our elective choices really honor individual students and their things that they're really interested in. So I won't talk much more. I'm actually going to introduce Senora. She's going to come up and talk about our world language program in the middle school. So she is one of our middle school world language teachers.
Hola, hola, buenas noches. My name is Adriana Rollave. I'm one of the Spanish teachers in the middle school. And I'm going to speak to you a little bit about our language program in the middle school. So in 6th grade, the language exploration class gives the students a taste of the 3 languages, French, Latin, and Spanish. The lessons are made interactive, introducing students to geography, art, history, and science. In 7th grade, students choose one language for the next 2 years in middle school. Students continue to develop their listening, speaking, reading, and writing skills in that language. In 8th grade, students build on the skills from their previous year to explore topics in greater depth with more elaborate language. And in 9th grade, when students get to the upper school, they can continue with the same language or choose to explore another one. Here you have some pictures of 2 of our 6th graders showing 2 of the projects once they're done in the Spanish program and the explorations when they take Spanish. On the right side, you will see some students after our class with Paella when we finish reading one of the books that we read in 8th grade. So these are some of the examples of the activities we do with the students in the language here in the middle school. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm going to be outside. I'll help you out. Adiós y muchas gracias.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Archana Sankar. I wear 2 hats in this place. I'm primarily the 8th grade science teacher, but I also am the director of middle school student life. So you may have heard Ms. Cassell talk to you about student life. So what is student life? So I'm going to change the slide. Basically, it's all the co-curricular offerings that we have. You notice that the schedule talked about student life. So it could be things like community days. What are you doing for community service? Middle school meetings, grade activity nights, ski club, middle school clubs, and student government association. So it's a lot of different things wherein we strive to build a community over and above what's happening in the classroom while studying. So some examples that I can, kind of talk to you about is if I think about community days, it's usually right at the beginning of the school year. We have students who are new coming in, especially most of our 6th grade, all of our 6th grade, some 7th and some 8th. So we have built in one day wherein we have kids doing team building activities, community games, and we are out there getting to know each other in a much more informal way than having everybody in a classroom and speaking to the teacher directly. So it gives students to be a chance to be themselves. So it's one way of students building community, getting together. Community service, we again would love for our students to not only explore their education, explore their person, explore who they are by not only just being in class getting your A's, but being out there and giving back. So we've had 2 really long-standing relationships. We have a relationship with the Morristown Interfaith Pantry. So 6th grade usually tends to go there. We tend to go to the pantry, spend time maybe stocking shelves or having drives, doing that kind of thing. 7th grade usually tends to go to the neighborhood house in Morristown, which is a preschool facility, and our students love to go there and spend about an hour, hour and a half reading stories to 5- and 6-year-olds, or just playing games with them, running around in the when they have recess time. It's really cute to watch them do that. Middle school meetings, again, it's all about community. We come together in this exact space as an entire middle school. We tend to have students who would love to take an leadership opportunity and do the emceeing for the program. So I work with students to kind of build out the itinerary, what is the agenda, and then teachers, if they have done any sort of special project in their class, or students, if they have a talent, they come up here and they perform, they talk, and so get rid of that fear of standing up here and take a risk in front of people that they know. Talking about grade activity nights, it's basically a party for the kids after school. I love throwing these. Kids come together, they get to choose with the help of the student association, government association. Students choose, does the 7th grade want to have a bingo night? Let's have a bingo night. So they come after school hours, we meet in the middle school commons, we play bingo, we eat pizza, we listen to music, we have free dance. So we have a few little activities, and it's usually on a Friday night. So, everybody is down and really relaxed and they're done with the week's work. So that's one of my favorite activities. I like planning for students. It's a lot of shopping in Costco, by the way, but I love it. Ski Club, another really popular program with our middle schoolers. We take our middle school students during the months of January and February for 5 Fridays to the Poconos Mountains. We basically go to Shawnee, and our students get to ski, they get to snowboard, and if you do not have any experience doing that, there are lessons provided. So it's again one of those things, you take a trip, it's an after-school thing. We leave from here at around 2:30, 2:45, and then we come back by around 9 at night. But I have noticed some amazing friendships built during these evenings. They go skiing, they're out there, they get together, they have food together. It's a very popular thing that the students in the middle school do. Middle school clubs. So clubs are just like clubs. We have a lot of different clubs. I mean, what we are working towards and we are getting really better towards, thanks to Ms. Cassell, is basically having student-run clubs. So in the fall and in the spring, it's a 2-semester thing. In the fall, I just send out a Google form and I'm saying, hey, do you have any ideas for a club? Do you want to run a club? And what do you think the ideas are? So this year, I think I've had student-run clubs from Rubik's Cubes to movie, to no-bake clubs, to bracelet making, to all that stuff. And then we also have some teachers who sponsor certain clubs. So but we would like most of this to come from the students because we want them to have the opportunity to take an ownership. I'm just the liaison. I'm just right there to help them navigate where they need to go, what they need to do, how they need to go about it. We tend to have about 2 to 3 clubs a month. It all depends on the schedule, but we usually tend to have at least 2 clubs a month. And 2 club sessions, I should say. Sorry, it's 2 club sessions a month. Finally, the Student Government Association, the SGA. So we have SGA elections happening in the fall. We have an 8th grader who stands for the presidency. So they become the president. You have a 7th grader who will be a VP. So we get a 7th and 8th to collaborate with each other, speak with each other and get to know. And then you have representatives for each grade session. So 6th grade will have 2 representatives, 7th will have a couple, and 8th. So and the SGA government meets with me and another group of other teachers once a week during lunch. We sit together and we plan events. So some of the events that we plan and which we are really looking forward to coming really quickly is the middle school dance. So we have a middle school spring dance. We have students coming in for the dance. We have a theme planned for it. We have our Parents Association generous enough to actually do the decorations for us and have a DJ in there for us. Our students are working on getting a playlist in. We also have, during our dance, we have a friend join a student for the dance. So we have a community from across in and around the area joining us. The student government plans out 2 spirit weeks through the school year, 1 in the fall, 1 in the spring. They also help with the grade activity nights. What are the themes? What do we do? Ms. Sankar, so-and-so would love to have this activity running, and then we think how viable it is. So a lot of conversations going on. So as you can see, it's a lot of different things. So it's a lot of liaison for me. It's a lot of talking to the head of the school, talking to the middle school teachers, talking to the community service people. So I'm just the go-between person trying to get it all organized for them. So one of the activities which I plan much in detail and something that you all will be interested in would be the middle school new student orientation. So on Thursday, August 29th, all of you new students will have the opportunity to come back into campus. And now we're getting closer to the school year starting, right? So you kind of sort of should have gotten you might have gotten a postcard from your advisor saying, welcoming you to their class and saying, you're part of my advisory, you're going to be part of my class, welcome to MBS. So you all come in. We have other MBS students who are ambassadors welcoming you. So you will have other students who have been in MBS before in the middle school welcoming you, making you feel comfortable. You get a tour of the campus with your class schedule. Where is your math class going to be? Where's your science class going to be? What are the other different parts of it? It can be daunting sometimes to come into a big space like this, but we will make it easy peasy for you guys. We'll have a few icebreaker games, group activities, and then you'll get some time to see your advisor and speak with your advisor. So this is basically a morning, about 2 hours in the morning, just a little taste of what your school life is going to be, and we will ease you into becoming a true MBS student. All right? I am super excited that you're all here. I can't wait to collaborate with you. Here's my tiny bit of homework to you students. I know you guys are not going to like me. Just start thinking of those clubs. Think of those innovative ideas. I want to make them happen for you. I want to make those ideas happen for you. So think of them, and you can reach out to me. I will be out there. We can chat more. Thank you so much.
Hi, thank you for coming tonight. We're going to talk about athletics next. Our middle school athletic director is very sad he cannot be here tonight. He is practicing what he preaches. He is coaching 2 baseball teams tonight, and he was sort of hoping that it would pour so he could be here, but unfortunately the rain has held out. So I am going to read his little spiel. Any of us can answer some questions if you have them, but of course, if you want to email Mr. Sturgeon, you can, and he's happy to answer any questions you have about sports. So if you would change it to the next slide, please, for athletics. Oh, wait, do I have to do that? Oh, I thought we had a press for that. Sorry. All right. So here is really quickly the offerings for fall, winter, and spring. So middle school athletics is mandatory, but it's also considered the physical education class in the middle school. So it's within the school day. It's at the end of the day from 2:20 to 3:25, Monday through Thursday. Nothing is scheduled for Fridays, and some of that has to do with our really popular ski club so that everyone can participate in that. Let's see, bless you. So students can engage in a range of team sports. A lot of students have played some of these before, but this is also a really great opportunity to try something new before you get to the high school. A lot of these teams offer A and B teams so that we have students who've played before and then other students who maybe want to try something new before they head on up to the upper school. Athletic contests typically run after school, so if there's a game that will be outside of the school day, typically from 3:30, starting at 3:30 or 3:45, and we try to be done around 4:30 to make way for the upper school athletics to happen. We view athletics as co-curricular, and so that is what he has to say, so thank you for that. Again, we can try to answer some questions for you, but Mr. Sturgeon, again, apologizes for not being here. I'm also going to talk about wellness because he's not here. Wellness is also another, this is one of the quarterlies that Ms. Cassell talked about earlier. So let me just pull up oh my gosh, it's starting. I can't read this. Okay. All right. So for wellness, each year, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, during a quarterly, you take a wellness class. And students will engage in, for 1 quarter each year, diving into a bunch of topics, including street smarts, digital citizenship, safety, stress management, sleep, nutrition, ethics, and puberty. The curriculum goes beyond the conventional to equip students with what they need and skills necessary for navigating the complexities of modern life. So that is what our one of the quarterlies for wellness is. Again, you can ask questions outside. Ms. Cassell knows all about this. And now I'm going to welcome Ms. Romero, I believe, to come up and talk about the scheduling timeline.
Good evening. I'm Rosia Romero, and I am the Director of Academic Scheduling, and I'm also the Upper School Academic Dean. And what that means to all of you is that I'm the one that creates your schedules. So if you have any questions about scheduling, you come talk to me. In the meantime, I just want to introduce you to the timeline of events that you need to think about. Number one, on Wednesday, you will get a link from the admissions team with a Google form. So that will allow you to make a selection for your art elective. The electives that you just heard about, that is where you're going to make your choices, okay? You have from May 1st until May 10th. So I ask you to please complete your selections by May 10th so that I can create your course request lists, not your schedules, but your course request list that then will be available to you on, I think, June 3rd, I believe, yes. So when you see those lists, I want you to be aware that those are a bit preliminary in that I am going to do my best to make sure that all your courses fit in your schedule, but if we have some issues, then we will have to work those out in August. Then August 19th, that is when you have a chance to see your finalized course listings. Again, not a schedule yet, but it is a final list of courses. And what that means is that on that day, you'll get to see the courses that you are officially enrolled in for the following year. So if you see that the elective that you chose is listed, it means that you got in. If the elective that you chose is not listed, that means that you need to call me, okay? Hopefully that will not happen, but if we can always make changes in August if needed, okay? And then, as Ms. Cassell and Ms. Sankar mentioned, you will get your actual schedule on orientation day, okay? So if you have any questions about the scheduling process, I'm happy to talk to you outside. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's my turn. Yes, it is my turn. Okay, warm welcome to everyone. My name is Kim Potratz. I'm the director of the Center for Teaching and Learning, the center in which we organize all of the academic support for the entire school, grades 6 through 12. So there I am with one of my star students. She's still my student this year, so that's fun to have, much better than the yearbook photo. I don't want to saturate you all with too much information. You're hearing a lot of important things tonight and adding to your to-do list. So I'm just going to give you some highlights from the CTL, which is for parents out there who are a little fatigued from homework detail, and for children out there who are a little fatigued from explaining this generation's math to your parents. I come with a message of hope. We offer a guided homework program through the CTL, Tuesdays through Thursdays after school, to help build those independent work completion skills. That is a goal for most of our middle schoolers. It's just developmentally appropriate. I also coordinate the study strategies class. Please also fear not, your child will never lose a choice elective just because they have a need that needs to be met during the school day. So if you have an IEP, 504 plan, or psychoed testing, and you'd like to forward that to me, I am happy to talk to you about the services that we offer and accommodations that we offer as well. So I think my email is somewhere on this slide, and if not, please feel free to talk to me out in the lobby afterwards. And again, welcome to MBS.
Hi, it's me again. But now I'll introduce myself, because now I'm going to talk about something that I'm in charge of. So I am Nikki Leese. I'm the middle school dean, and I'm very lucky to work with all the people who have spoken already. I am here not only as middle school dean, but I'm also a new family, a new parent. I'm not gonna. I didn't do that. I'm just saying. She said, "Do not say my name." So this makes me really excited, not only because I choose to do this as a job and I love it, but now I get to see it through the lens of a parent, and it's really exciting to see all the things that she'll be able to do next year. So one of the tasks that I do as middle school dean is I oversee the middle school advisory program. And one thing we really try to make sure of is to give students the space to advocate for themselves and to practice those skills. So we often, during some of our faculty meetings, you'll see up here, you'll say, "What? Those aren't students, they're too old." These are our teachers, because sometimes during faculty meetings, Ms. Cassell really likes to keep us busy. So we will do some of the activities just to make sure we know how to run them, we can think through how to do them with our students. And right in the center is Mr. Sturgeon, who's the athletic person I spoke through for before, so now that's what he looks like. So these are the words that we focus on in the middle school. So the spiraling curriculum starts with community in 6th grade, and then we start looking at becoming a little more self-aware. And in 8th grade, of course, leadership, because that will, it's the culminating thing at the end of our division, and then it helps springboard them into the upper school. So students, you should look forward to doing lots of fun things in advisory. Advisory are places where you get to set goals, and teachers love setting goals, so they are very excited to help you with that. Students will also monitor their own goals and do weekly activities and reflections on those goals. They're going to learn different ways to advocate for themselves and learn the ways that our school has the supports for them and how to reach out to those supports. We also work with them to balance things. You know that life after school is very busy, especially post-COVID. It's like we all forgot what to do and then everything came back. So we work on how to balance academics, arts, and athletics together. Students will also prepare and run their own conferences twice a year. They're called student-led conferences, and the students will speak to you, the parent, about what their goals were and talk about how they reached them, or maybe what got in the way and what can help them better next time. And then, of course, we do lots of fun discussions and activities, so you can see some pictures here. Sometimes we're sitting in a circle, sometimes we're painting, sometimes we're making reflection journals, so we try to make it as fun as we possibly can as well. So that is our advisory program. Happy to talk with you out in the hall. And now we are going to talk with Ms. Carrison.
Good evening. I actually have to give a shout out because you just met Mrs. Lease, but Mr. Lease is actually in the audience, and he is our upper school division head, so you're going to have a fun journey. I am Clarissa Carrison. I'm the director of our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging program. I live in the upper school, but we are so fortunate to have Mr. Valentine, who is amazing, amazing, amazing. And he has an office in the middle school. And if you have not had the opportunity to meet him, I guarantee that your child will probably know him within the first week of school, because he's super motivating. He walks down the hallways, high-fiving kids. And really, our goal is, to know every single kid on this campus. So between the two of us, I think everyone in our senior leadership team and our amazing faculty do that, but for us, it's really, really important. I'm going off a little bit off script because I have 15 minutes. I'm kidding. I won't keep you 15 minutes. But, I just want to point this out while I still have you all here. I am fully aware that when you see this title, that it can mean many different things depending on which academic institution you're in, which workplace you're in. And I want to just have the opportunity to share what this means to us at Morristown Beard School. So when we think about our children, I always say we have 100% diversity, because there's not one student on this campus that is exactly like another. We have students who are coming from a huge mile radius, maybe 40 miles. And of course, they're all gonna have different lived experiences, different exposures. So we understand that when we bring kids together, they need to adjust, especially middle schoolers. So when we say diversity, we mean it could be your race, your ethnicity, your socioeconomics, your religion, your gender, your sexual orientation, your neurodiversity. We really do mean all aspects of an identity that your family and your child may bring with them. Next slide, please. Oh, I do it. Gosh, what is this coming to? I'm not going to go over every single one of these, but I just want to highlight one thing, and I think this is really important for you to think about, because sometimes I feel like parents will come back and we'll have conversations. When you think about this work, a lot of times it can be really performative, right? And people are like, how many assemblies are you having? Are you celebrating every month? Are you bringing speakers? And all of those things really do enrich the culture of a school, but that doesn't change the experience of a child. And what I mean by that is, if we know that like every student can come on campus and feel a sense of belonging, if we know that there are students here who can participate in trips, in sports, that they have access to the things that they need access to, that they feel safe, those are the things that really change a child's experience. So I hope that all of you can feel confident that when we are working with your children, the goal is not to be divisive. The goal is not to, brainwash them. I guess I hear these kind of things circulating. The goal is actually to help them, number one, become more empathetic people. And I think the best pathway through that is trying to teach them how to communicate with each other, how to ask questions, right? We don't all have to agree with each other, but we do need to respect each other. We do need to coexist, and we need to at least take the time to try to understand the people that we share our space with. Next, please. Oh gosh, I keep saying it. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we have lots of community programs. We have speakers, school-wide workshops. One thing that's my favorite thing to do, and Ms. Cassell, I've done it in the high school for almost 8 years, and Ms. Cassell was like, we need this in the middle school. I forgot to mention I have an current 8th grader and a current 10th grader, so it was really fun to be able to bring my own daughter on a retreat. So we bring kids out to the middle of nowhere in Blairstown, and we spend the weekend together just building relationships, talking about some of the things that are really difficult to talk about. But I will tell you, you would be amazed the critical thoughts that that middle schoolers have and the ideas they're generating. So it's amazing to give them that space. I almost said it and I didn't. There's just 2 things that I want to highlight. One of them is not up here. This year, our Culture Fest was bigger than ever. It's in October, so I invite all of you to think about having a booth in Culture Fest. It's a lot of fun. Families are invited. We have food, music, and dancing. So one, be on the lookout for that. And the other plug that I want to give while I have your attention is next year we are going to start up our Crimson Conversation series again, which is essentially like opportunities for all of you to interact with amazing members of our guidance team. I include myself in that. And the topics that we have so far, November, we're hoping to focus on belonging and friendship. We'd like to do one on cancel culture. We'd like to do one on supporting and being an ally to LGBTQ teens. So if you see the word Crimson Conversation, just know everyone is invited to those conversations. Even if you don't think it applies to you, again, it's about fostering a healthy learning environment where every student feels like they belong. I am here as a resource for everyone. So if you have questions, concerns, worries, you are always free to reach out to me. And now I'm going to turn it back to Ms. Cassell. Thank you.
All right, so who remembers, you got a homework assignment. Who remembers what your homework assignment was? This is me all the time. Is this Preston's sister? Tell me your name again. What's your name? Marilyn? Marin. Oh, I do know that. Marin, what was your homework assignment? Yeah, a club that you're interested in leading. Good job remembering. Yeah. And then Miss Romero's gave our very first date that you have to look forward to. Who remembers what day that's coming out? It's this week. Do you remember the day of the week? Right here, yes, with the hearts on your... Yeah, do you remember what you're getting on that date? Come on, I see a hand over here. What are you going to get? Yeah. You are going to actually, yes, very close, you're going to get the option to pick your electives. So don't worry about that. You'll get it this Wednesday, and it will give you all the description of the electives. So don't forget to do your homework, and don't forget to pick your electives on Wednesday. It's so, so, so important. So I want to dismiss you out into the middle school commons, but before I do that, I'd like to also invite you, if you are interested, to attend our upper school athletic portion. Mr. Lisa's shaking his head, but he's awesome. And so if you want to learn a little bit about the upper school, you are more than welcome to join us at that time, but we'd love to meet you in the middle school commons for a little discussion, say hello, and ask us any questions you have. We'll meet you out there. When you go out, it's to the right. Thank you for coming this evening.